focus on future-focused learning. We want more college and career down on career pathways, doubling down on dual credit work, expediting the credentialing of our teachers to teach dual credit work, dual credit in our high schools, enhancing student safety and well-being. One of the most unfortunate aspects of living and being in America's schools is the constant fear that we have of our students safe and the threats that are coming into our buildings, whether it be technological threats to actual physical threats of violence. And then the well-being that our students are exhibiting in a post-COVID world. We're working on our social emotional learning curriculum. The state has aspirations of a universal screener on mental health. And implementing things like that, there's a lot of work that we want to engage in. Attracting and retaining high-quality teachers continues to be a theme, and then promoting curriculum instruction and flexibility, which piques my interest to meet the unique needs of our students, allowing us to innovate and not having the red tape in Springfield bog us down where we can't try and experiment and innovate in our schools. The next phase is that shared accountability. We are in no way shying away from accountability and improving our systems and being held responsible to the growth in our students and their performance. But we want to reform the Illinois assessment system so that we get real-time data. Our students take the ACT in April. We don't get their performance data, maybe like their scores, until late June. And then anything we can really actionable that we can do with it are confirmed by the state in the fall. And if you're in a K-8 district and you take the IAR, you're not really seeing anything until August or September that's actionable. We should be, in 2025, we should be able to get real-time actionable data that our educators can act and adjust instruction to show growth throughout the year. And that's really where our state agencies are encouraging our legislators to help take us. Reform our accountability system. You know that Dr. Sanders down in Springfield State Superintendent has already spoken about this, of level setting the accountability benchmarks with that of the College Board, which we believe is a good move, but also create that flexibility for identifying the indicators at a more holistic view of our students that align with our philosophy of a students that is much more than a test score, how they perform in attendance and grades and growth throughout the year instead of just how they perform on a test on a single given day. And then reforming the mandate process, as I kind of alluded to, allowing some flexibility and local decision-making to rule the day. All of these organizations continually advocate that local decision-making is the way to go. We want Springfield to follow that up a little bit more. A lot more, actually. Predictable funding, I want to continue evidence-based funding formula. There's a component in here of advocating for those school districts that are receiving EBF dollars to begin reporting out back to the state how they're utilizing those EBF dollars so that there's a tracking system of we've given these dollars, what are the outcomes that we're getting, which I believe is a reasonable request. And then establishing equitable statewide funding sources for capital and safety needs. I can tell you in my prior district, I was a high school principal at the time, and in 2013, I remember our CFO coming to me and said, we just received a $35 million capital improvement grant from the state of Illinois from the schools that our district built in 2003. That was the last time the state of Illinois issued those capital improvement grants. So we are all in, here we sit in District 214, our youngest building is 51 years old. We could certainly benefit from those capital improvement grants with $875 million of capital need. There are school districts all over the state of Illinois that are in similar boats, and we need to begin talking about how can the state help us fund these projects so that we're not continually going and asking our community for help every couple of years, which only adds to the financial burden of being in Illinois as a heavily taxed state. And then enhancing the financial flexibility for our school districts so that we can funnel our dollars where they need to go based on that local control. So really the themes are we're going to advocate for keeping our students safe, keeping high-quality educators in front of our students, enhancing post-secondary success, dual credit, college and career pathways are near and dear to our hearts, obviously, and then improving measurement of what's working and really showing that progress and sharing the wealth. So the approval of this resolution merely states that District 214 is behind this work and supportive of the advocacy of these areas to try and bring positive evolution of education in Illinois.
conference to talk about districts attending to please a couple years in Vision 2030, and we'll see approval. Go ahead.
You know, I see good to have confidence. Is really going to change. I'm not sure it's focused on and understand. When we get our results, so that we can do that, what we have to do to get to have to put together a document with good things in it. It's just not going to happen unless, you know, we've been talking about this for a long time, that there's that doing something wrong right now talking about this thing with, but I'm just.
No, Bill, you're not frustrated. About mandate reform forever. And I swear it comes from.
Perspective is, you know, from their constituents. And I've had them share this in presentations time and time again. Become statewide laws. And it's frustrating when it's a local issue. That's why I think this is actually that educators can say, this is what we believe we need to do to evolve. We've been doing the same thing for over 100 system and fix it from the inside out. Waiting for them to say, teach this and has down from well-intentioned.
Done here, what the organizations are doing.
I'll never forget years ago that we had a state legislature. Don't you know if one school, all the school districts, happens all the time in Springfield. Anyway, okay. Proposed policy changes. Dr. Rowe, do you want to?
Sure. I'll just an exhaustive press update. Footnotes and legal references updates that are worth noting. Is one aspect that to post certain things on their website for ease of access to Title IX notice as well as Title IX subject shortage areas. Been increased for building and ground. That's now in line with a $35,000 instruction on the Daymore mandates, but mandates as alcohol and health classes. And then finally, probably as the Auto Accelerate law has been tweaked. Clarity of the law, as well as its intent to grant more access to more. And the tweak is that the threshold is not meets and exceeds. The students who exceed. Of course, students that wish to push themselves to the next most rigorous course have that access. nature of it will occur for any student who exceeds. We're actually in the middle of that now. I believe the freshman families to opt out of that should they choose to do so. So and their teachers about what's.
Thank you. Board members, any discussion?
That has to be done for each board member within the first.
Yeah, and even though he came to the board with 12 years' experience, he is over again.
I wonder if the
Something to look forward to. We have mandatory training. Yeah, don't.
No, both times, so I'm still, I think I owe 4 hours.
Okay, moving on. Okay, Business Office, Mr. Keeley, Grand Prairie. Want to give us an update, please?
Yes, indeed. So we have been working for the better part of 3 to 5 months with our transportation partner, Grand Prairie Transit, to amend the existing contract. So just some background, our transportation team has been working to seek efficiencies. We've talked about that for the past year and a half here, about finding operational efficiencies to essentially provide more budget for the classroom, right? And so looking at our transportation and working with our principals, we noted that the late in, early out shuttles that were developed during COVID were still running and were not really being utilized. And so we brought that to Grand Prairie and we said, yes, let's get rid of them and let's save all the money. The issue there is that the original contract with Grand Prairie that was bid out with that in the scope and all of their labor was predicated on that, would have taken a significant hit, and the contract rates would no longer hold for the business model. And so we worked together with them to come up with a process where we can reconcile against last year's hours and then use a labor and benefit factor on top of the differential hours. So each month of the contract moving forward. Now, this is the second year of the contract. Next year is the third and final year. So this is just for this year and next year.
Okay.
What we'll do is we will compare the hours of the current month versus that base year of the contract, and any hours short times that labor factor is what we'll owe back in terms of a labor surcharge. That'll go to their employees, and that ensures that they maintain their 5-hour minimums, and we can keep our drivers. The good news is we come out on this with significantly less operations, significantly less fuel costs and route costs, somewhere between $1 million and $1.5 million. So it's very significant. Mike Bogner in our department, the supervisor of transportation, has been working tirelessly on this and is actively tracking it. And this is the first of several efficiencies in the transportation department. I want to take a moment to thank our DEC. Our principals have really given a lot of good feedback on this. We're looking at our late activity buses, which we're piloting we're testing at Hersey and Prospect, a reduction there, some combination of routes, because we're really leveraging our technology and where kids are scanning on and off the buses, and we're actively monitoring that ridership. So some really cool stuff ahead for us. It's going to take a while, though, because we are rolling this out slowly and mindfully so we can communicate it well. So what does that mean tonight? There is the amendment before you that has been reviewed by our legal counsel as well as Grand Prairie's. We drafted this together, and this is a document that is mutually beneficial for our long-term relationship with them. So I'll be back next board meeting seeking action and ratification of this amendment, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Board members?
I only had one question. That was, in the write-up, it didn't list the length of the contract, but I appreciate you answering it just now.
Well, if I could, I just want to thank Tim and his fiscal team for taking us down this path. This is something that we kind of roll our sleeves up in the principal meeting and found some opportunities, and the next phase there's more savings there. So this is the efficiency work that we've been talking about. So I just, publicly thank you, Tim, and Mr. Bognar and team. Appreciate that very much.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I think it's wonderful that we can guarantee the drivers. I mean, turnover and training is so expensive for everybody, and just the continuity with the students on the buses and everything, I think it's vital that we have a standardized crew that's there, knows the routes, knows the kids, gets the respect of the kids, and kind of forms that relationship. And, most companies are doing 4 hours, I believe, minimum, so we're so
kind of the and what we tab
is what our staff to really perspective to our building. What this has done is this allows servers that we were maintaining save us money in the long run.
Backup data to the cloud, which
Yes.
is a safer on our servers.
The cloud servers are located?
That out for you, I don't know.
So many data centers.
It is. Okay.
Because I'm kind of new. So my using this data, is it like
Entire school district, it is where we maintain student performance connections based on just about any. There is quite a bit of management that happens by our research office, but it's our data warehouse.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot, but what it for, or who might use it? Say like any of the three good-looking people.
Their goals are, against those goals, it's
Okay.
being pulled into specific reports to show if they're on track to reach.
our financial data into there in the last 6 months.
Awesome.
And so the board will be produced by Tableau. And so every month, we're uploading that data. And the principals, or the assistant principals' activity and operation are going to be used.
Budget, are you talking by department, or are you talking by?
By bill. Dashboards for them, so they can quickly and easily see the information.
I also believe at the schools, and it really, they felt empowered by being able to. So, I definitely think it's a.
Okay, thank you. Large format printer.
Yep, this is basically a service lease for one of the pieces of equipment that we are leasing in Studio 214. It's a large format printer, so think of your foam boards and sets for plays and those types of items. It came with a 18-month service agreement included, and so this is an agreement to continue moving forward.
Board members, discussion? Okay, moving on. Dr. Lopez, summer experience.
Yes, just real quickly before I talk about the summer experience program, Dr. Rowe mentioned we began the week of professional development, and I know the board's been interested in our continued collaboration with our sender district. So I just wanted to mention that we hosted over 100 music teachers here from our K-8 senders and from 214, and they participated in a program on equitable practices in music education. The program was well received, and we're going to probably come up with something for next year to host them again. And District 26 actually hosted all the librarians in the region for a program supporting literacy at River Trails. So just continue to collaborate with our senders. Regarding summer school for 2025, for the upcoming session, all courses are going to be held at Rolling Meadows High School, with the exception of the extended school year program for students with disabilities, which will be held at the specialized schools. And we're going to continue to offer enrichment programming through talent development program. The first summer session you'll see is running June 9th through June 26th, gives us a 1-week break after school lets out. Classes will meet Monday through Thursday with the exception of a holiday observance on June 19th. We will have classes for that week on the Friday, June 20th to make up for that day. The second session begins July 7th through 24th. So it aligns with our summer athletic camps and gives families that first week of July break for vacations, which are really important. So the big changes really have to do with the summer course fees. So it's recommended the fee for the summer credit-bearing courses be increased from $187.50 to $211 for the 2025 summer experience, and then adjusted annually until the current total per student cost of summer school courses of just under $280 is reached. Since 2007, the fee has only been increased by $30. We did survey about 20 area school districts and found a broad range from some schools charging no cost whatsoever to a high of about $400 in the range. And the recommended schedule of increases would be as follows. So this year in 2025, increasing to $211, in 2026, $228, 2027, $241, and 2028, $280. So that would be across 4 years. In addition, the transportation fee has not been adjusted since 2013. It's recommended that the transportation fee be increased to $84 per session for the summer of 2025, and that cost be reviewed cents per ride. The actual per student cost summer school. The cost of providing geographic region sort of comparisons difficult. It's important. Disproportionate number of students on fee waivers, 7% are not charged for the transportation or the it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the 2025 Summer Experience Program sites, the proposed fee schedule for coursework for each year through 2028, and the adjusted transportation fee for the 2025 Summer Experience. I'll answer your questions now.
Board members? Mr. Dusling?
Dr. Lopez, you mentioned that some of the districts were up higher than ours, up at 400, some weren't charging anything. Do we have a breakdown on that, what the percentage would be, how many are charging nothing, and where we're at?
Yeah, I can provide you the full chart of examples, but just to give you a few highlights, for example, Hinsdale Township charges $300, Highland Park Deerfield $300, Lake Forest $400, Muture $330, but Township District 211 charges $140, but they also own their own bus transportation. But you have some that charge none. Minooka, Round Lake charges a nominal fee of $25, and Fenton, it appears, that doesn't charge for their summer school. Predominantly, those were credit recovery only.
Okay.
I think where this conversation comes from is we began having an internal discussion of summer school and what should we be increasing to stay with the times? And I asked the question of, should summer school pay for itself? And through our discussion at superintendency, we by and large kind of felt that especially if you're taking a get-ahead course, we should come pretty close to summer school paying for itself because it's not a part of the, like I said, the free and appropriate public education our students get from August until May. There are some aspects of this that we're not charging for. The incoming eighth graders, for example, on the Bridge program, to transition them in, not being charged for that. Our ESY students, the special education is part of their IEP, not being charged for this. This is really about get ahead and then recovery if you fail a course. And as Lana said, any fee waiver student will not see a charge whatsoever. And the plan is beyond the 4 years to get to the point where it's close to paying for itself course by course. We would then propose an annual increase that's in line with CPI, just so we don't have to do sizable increases year over year again. We don't want to always be coming back saying, let's charge our people more. We want to, where it's common sense and growing with the times.
And
It is hard to believe that there's 40%, 47% of those attending are on fee waivers. That's very high in my mind.
Yep. Lenny, did you have something?
I was just going to mention, coming out of COVID, fast pushed it back.
I'll just to the purpose just employee also will Now out of closed session, and we have 2 action items. Can I?
January 9th, 2025.
Second?
There's been a motion and a second. Aye.
Joe?
Adjourn. We are